relationships and less stress in our lives, right? But what if the secret wasn't trying to change everybody else around you? What if it was about mastering the skills you already have inside? Today, we're going to open up what you might call your inner toolkit and see how a few powerful, scientifically backed tools can completely change how you communicate and maybe even change your life. Oh man, we've all been there. It's that feeling, isn't it? You're stuck in the same old argument, you feel completely invisible, like you're just talking to a brick wall. You lay out all your points, you make your case perfectly, but the conversation just goes in circles. It's incredibly frustrating, but the way out probably isn't what you think it is. And here's the big twist. We spend so much energy focused outward, right? Trying to fix what other people are doing. But the real power, the real game changer, comes from turning that focus inward. Just imagine for a second that you have an internal toolkit full of skills for awareness, for mindset, for connection. By sharpening those tools, you can start building a better life from the inside out. Okay, so where do we even begin? Well, the foundation for this entire toolkit, the very first step, is learning to look inward. Before we can hope to change any conversation or relationship, we have to get a clear picture of what's actually happening inside our own heads first. This is all about self-awareness. So the first tool we're grabbing from the kit is mindfulness. Now, I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but it's actually super simple. It's just the practice of paying attention to right now. By focusing on something as basic as your breath, you create this little bit of space where you can just observe your thoughts and feelings as they float by, without getting all tangled up in them. It's like you're stepping back and watching the weather in your mind instead of getting caught out in the rain. And this isn't some abstract, feel-good idea. The benefits are real, and they are practical. We're talking about literally improving your brain function and making you a clearer decision maker. Because when you're more aware of what triggers you, you stop having that knee-jerk reaction of anger or frustration. Instead, you create just enough space to choose how you want to respond. And that, right there, is the first step to breaking that cycle of feeling unheard. All right, so once we've built that foundation of awareness, once we can see what's going on inside, we can add the next tool. Mindset. This is where things get really interesting. We move from just observing our thoughts to actively directing them, using some really powerful ideas from positive psychology. So here's a helpful way to think about it. Your brain kind of has two different modes. You've got your analytical mode, that's your inner critic, the problem solver. It's great for logic, but it can get stuck just focusing on everything that's wrong. And then you have your creative mode, your imaginative, solution-finding side. Positive psychology is basically the science of learning how to consciously fire up that more creative, solution-focused part of your brain. This simple idea completely flips the script on how we deal with problems. Instead of immediately thinking, oh no, I can't do this, we learn to ask a different question. What skills do I already have that can help me right now? When you start from a place of what you can do, it activates that creative thinking. And suddenly, you start seeing solutions that were invisible before. And if you think this is all just in your head, get this. In a pretty wild experiment, researchers took two identical plants. Same soil, same water, same light. The only difference? One plant was consistently praised, and the other was insulted. The results were just shocking. The praised plant flourished. It grew strong and healthy. The insulted one? It literally withered and died. It's just an incredible reminder that our focus, our words, and our intentions actually shape the world around us. Okay, so we're building on our awareness and we're shifting our mindset. Now we're ready for the third tool in our kit, heart set. This is where we move beyond just our thoughts and start to focus on consciously cultivating our emotional state, actively generating the feelings we want to bring into our interactions with others. Now, it's really important to understand the difference between two powerful emotions here. Empathy is when you feel with somebody. You take on their pain. And that's a beautiful thing, but honestly, it can be totally draining. Compassion is different. It's not about feeling their pain. It's about wanting the best for them. It's an active, positive wish for them to be happy. It's this powerful, outward-focused state of goodwill that actually energizes you instead of depleting you. There's this incredible story about a monk who was asked to work with an inmate on death row at San Quentin, a notoriously tough prison. The guards were just hostile and aggressive toward him every single day. But instead of fighting back, the monk practiced what's called metta, or loving kindness meditation. He would actively, intentionally send compassion to the guards. And over time, something amazing started to happen. Their aggression softened. It turned into kindness and then eventually into deep respect. He never argued with them. He transformed the entire environment simply by changing his own heart. So, let's recap. We have awareness, we have a positive mindset, and we have a compassionate heart. Our internal toolkit is officially upgraded. Now we're ready for the final piece of the puzzle, putting it all into action and actually changing how we communicate with the world. And the tool for this is something called nonviolent communication, or NVC. It was developed by a psychologist named Marshall Rosenberg, and it's basically a framework, a recipe for expressing what you see, feel, and need without any blame or criticism. It's all about speaking your truth in a way that helps people hear you and in turn helps you hear them. The whole goal is connection, not conflict. And it's built on 4 surprisingly simple steps. First, you just state a neutral observation, something a camera would see, like, I see the dirty dishes are in the sink. No blame, no judgment. Second, you share your feeling. And I feel frustrated. Third, and this part is key, you identify your underlying need. Because I really need a sense of order and support in our home. And finally, you make a clear request. Would you be willing to help me wash them? See? It's a clear path away from blame and straight toward understanding. So what happens when you start talking to people like this? Well, you kickstart what researchers call a cycle of goodness. It's this beautiful idea that when you approach someone with clarity and compassion, you are way more likely to get it back. Your kindness literally becomes contagious. It creates this positive ripple effect that doesn't just fix one tiny problem, it can start to improve the entire relationship. So, when you boil it all down, real, lasting change in our lives and our relationships, it doesn't come from trying to fix other people. It comes from upgrading our own inner toolkit. And that leaves us with a pretty powerful question to think about. What conversation, what difficult, stuck conversation in your life could you completely transform this week just by deciding to start from within?